Hello everyone. So in this video I will be demonstrating how you can access your lab simulation links, all your lab material. Everything is located on your lab Blackboard site. I know we have our lecture site which contains, the syllabus, everything, all that important info, but regarding lab, everything will be accessed through your lab Blackboard shell. So 1105, okay? So I have it real simple here, only course content and your course materials info if you're curious about that. It goes straight to course content, so you don't really need to click around at all. But what you will want to do is open up your lab material folder. So in this module, you will find the background, the procedure, and the actual assignment links. You will also find a PreLab video, which is the one I'm filming right now, explaining, giving you an overview of everything. And if necessary, I do sometimes link lecture videos, lecture material, just to help you understand those lab topics. So I went ahead and opened the folder. Now here we first have some instructions, and then if you scroll down you see that we actually have the lab folders. So these instructions are what I'm going to talk about right now to begin with, and then I'll actually show you and kind of demo it to you. So to register, any of the Achieve links that you open will prompt you to register for the course. The Achieve links are associated with the actual Achieve course. You do not need to enter any course codes. I know you may have for a previous class or something like that, but for this class, that's already, that step has already been done. You don't need to enter a course code. Everything's automatic. You just have to go ahead and click that and, generate that account. And as long as you didn't opt out of the open access books, it will already be paid for. So I highly recommend not opting out. I have had some students in the past, decide to opt out, and it was just, a pain to actually go and buy it. I think the student took like almost the whole semester to get it figured out. It was just a pain. So if you can, please, I do not suggest opting out, because we are using everything that has been paid for. Okay, so like I said, you don't need a course access code since it's already built in. You will not be prompted to pay since your tuition included that. And after this first registration, you will be able to access Achieve from any of the Blackboard links that you click. So once you get that over with, you're good to go. So how are we actually going to be completing labs? As I stated on these instructions, you're going to open up your lab folder that you intend to complete. For example, lab 1. There's going to be several links present, okay? And you can actually see them right here. I have an example. I'm zooming in. Here are different links, and you can tell they're links by this little icon. It's a little paper with a pencil and a ruler, and you see like some lines and graph in the background. But that little icon tells you, okay, Achieve link, whether it's actually lecture or lab. Both of the types of Achieve links, whether it's the lecture homework or the lab course on Achieve, they're gonna have this little icon. So for lab, you're gonna see usually 3 to 4 links, and it'll usually be an experiment link or a background link, and it gives you the background on the lab and equations. The procedures link, which is usually around the second or third one, it gives the actual link to the virtual lab simulation. I know it's a bunch of links within links. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. But once you get the hang of it, it's no big deal. It gives you the step-by-step procedure. And if the lab has multiple experiments within it, you will see multiple lists, like step-by-step lists. And then finally, very important, assignment link. this is the actual assignment that you will complete for a grade. So here what I have what I have boxed in red is your actual assignment. This is what you will complete, and that counts for your lab. So most of the assignments will consist of multiple choice and open-ended response questions, but there's actually a variety of types of questions. There may be true or false and matching questions if I'm not mistaken, but either way, it's pretty straightforward. You know, there's a set amount of questions for each lab, and you can see on the sidebar how many you have left. I'm going to show you the actual first assignment and you'll kind of get the hang of it. Sometimes, depending on what settings you have on your browser, like let's say you click one of the links, you'll get like this glitchy Blackboard page, and then it'll say, or it'll already start launching the content. And that's just because, you know, if you have pop-up blockers installed, that may, you know, kind of delay it. But either way, if you get that, just always try to launch content. Click launch content. Okay. Number 5, always visit the links in order. They're typically in order, you know, the background, procedures, and then the assignment, right? That's what you should do. Read the background, then, you know, skim through the procedures, try to get an understanding of, okay, I'll be doing this first and then this experiment and, you know, this next. And then finally you get to actually answering the questions after you've already completed the lab simulation and completed the procedures. So in the lab assignment link, you know, there's a variety of questions, a lot of multiple choice. Multiple choice, straightforward, you choose the answer you think is right? For the open-ended short questions, please answer all open-ended questions in complete full sentences. Okay. I will be going in to view everybody's answers, and if I have to, I will manually grade them. So that's what I'm looking for, is for you to answer the question in complete full sentences to the best of your ability using the knowledge that you have learned in the lab. The lab assignment links will be open 7 days in advance and close on the due date and time. And for due dates and the time, always refer to our course calendar, which is available on our lecture site. Once you complete the lab assignment on Achieve, you're done with the lab. And this is like what I mentioned, this indicates, this little icon indicates an Achieve link. And then this right here box is always, the lab assignment is always what you need. It's your deliverable. It's what you need to, it's your action item, what you need to do to complete the lab, right? Just opening the links is not, that's not you completing the lab, right? You have something to do. And that's the lab assignment. How are the labs graded? You might be wondering. So like I mentioned, a lot are multiple choice questions. The short answer questions, I can manually grade them if I need to, right? That depends. If I see like that everybody's doing pretty well with just answering them in their own words to their best ability, I really won't adjust the grading too much, or I won't, you know, be too strict with that. So just be aware of that. Just answer to the best of your ability for the short answer questions and in full sentences. Okay, for the multiple choice questions, you have unlimited attempts per question, 5% penalty per failed attempt. The solution should show directly after you finish, and you're supposed to have resources that may include links to things that may help you. So this is actually the same grading scheme as your Achieve homework assignments. This is the exact same thing, just an FYI as well. Okay, so now let's go ahead and visit Lab 1. So you'll notice you have the links that I was just showing you. And I'm going to head over to a different browser because I actually always have to switch browsers for Blackboard because it hates Google Chrome, or Google Chrome hates it. I'm not sure. But this one right here is actually this first link. Introduction to the Virtual Laboratory. So this is the background. And I don't know why they like switch back and forth between just calling it background or not having not having a name for it at all. Like this doesn't have really a specification. But anyway, this is the background. You're going to be introduced to the virtual lab. You're going to have to wear, quote unquote, wear PPE when you enter the lab simulation. This is how it'll look. The virtual lab workspace contains, your supplies, your materials that you need to actually complete the procedure. And then there's some tools. So you just read through this, take some notes. However it is that you study, whether you print out pages or you just take notes on a notebook, or you can save this as a PDF and write on your iPad. However it is that you do that, go ahead and do that and just take some notes so that you know what's going on. This is the page that loads when you click the experiment link. Really not sure what this adds to it, but I did want to show you some tools here. So here on the Achieve links, you can actually play. It has a screen reader. So it could read it to you like a podcast kind of. So you could listen to the page instead and, take notes that way. You can also change the text size. You can change the sizing because I know, everybody has different preferences or things that just help them better. So you can also use that as well, right? Yeah, I really love the darker backgrounds on the computers that are available now. On the computers, wow. Like on websites and apps that you can use now, it makes reading so much easier on the eyes. So you can do that. And then the next link is the procedures. So obviously, very straightforward. This is the actual, our recipes, our what to do's. Gives you the list on what you're going to be doing. You have 3 different experiments in lab 1. Okay. And notice that it tells you what to do when you finish. So when you are ready, close the browser and then you can go to the actual lab assignment, which is the very last link. Remember this one right here, lab assignment. So one thing I forgot to mention, I definitely recommend you jotting down everything. Oh, that looks terrible. Jotting down everything on a notebook or keeping track of all your data, right? You can even just buy a little composition notebook from Walmart, like those $1 ones, and record your data. Treat it like if it was an actual lab, because you're going to have to enter that data later on. And you never know with internet, it may go down, your computer dies, it doesn't save. Those situations, you don't want that. So try to record your data somewhere that's offline, or back it up if you are online, so that you can enter everything on your actual lab assignment. Okay. Just an FYI. So you'll be completing the instructions, the procedure. You're going to be recording some things at certain times. It tells you when to record. So, for example, step 8, record the maximum temperature displayed by the thermometer. So you'll know exactly when and what you're supposed to record. And it's virtual, so I was saying, like, you should record things manually so that you have a backup. But at the end of the day, it's virtual. There's no harm in doing things again if you need to. So don't feel like I need to do this once and get this over with. No, you can do it again if you need to. That's completely okay. Now, to actually enter the virtual lab, here is the magic link right there. And you're going to click on it. And this is where it's going to take you. And you're going to click Start Lab. Like I said, you have to wear your PPE. It's required. So we enter the lab. And it does this little corny entry. It's really cute, kind of. And then you have your lab. So notice that there's keyboard controls. You can reset it. There's a help button. There's a colorblind button. It actually starts a timer if that's of interest. And then up here, unfortunately, my little screen recording is cutting this off, but there's 3 shelves here usually, maybe a little bit more sometimes, but each of them contain, and you can zoom in. So let's go ahead and do that so I can show you how these controls work. Might as well. So you can zoom in and you can see all the materials. So for example, you have some chemical materials, zinc, magnesium, just water, and then you have your containers, usually glassware, sometimes other things like crucible and evaporating dish, test tube. So it's all the types of glassware that you would use in a lab, obviously. And your instruments, your Bunsen burner, your digital balance, your pressure gauge, gas syringe. So most of the time, anytime, just a big like tip for anything that you're using, you usually just drag it. And the good thing about almost everything here is you can double click things and it'll usually change. Obviously not this one. Okay, there we go. So for beakers, for chemicals, you can usually double click and you can label things. For materials, you actually have to directly add them, and then you add however much amount you want. If it's a powder, it's going to be grams, right? It's mass. If it's a liquid, it's going to be mLs usually, because milliliters volume. What else? I'm just trying to think of tips. For the balance, there's obviously a certain number of digits that you're recording. Always pay attention to how many digits there are. That's what you should record in your notes, because that's how many sig figs that you just that's the precision of the instrument. That's what I was trying to get at. So there's a sink if you need to wash something. There's also waste. And pretty much the best way to learn this is to, do this first lab. It guides you step by step, very detailed. And you'll get the hang around on it. You'll get the hang of it. So don't worry if you have to do things twice this first time around, 3 times, that's fine. That's what you're here for, to learn, and that's what this lab is for. You can do it unlimited amount of times, right? In the future, for labs, I will, whenever I need to, demonstrate a little bit more to you, like the setup. Here, I really want to let you explore and take your time and let you, really have fun. Have fun, using this lab simulation. Okay. All right. So that's the virtual lab. That's our little virtual lab world. After that is the last thing, right? So you already recorded everything. You did the 3 experiments. Now you can go ahead and open up lab assignment if you're ready. And what that looks like is like this. And unfortunately, again, the screen recording is cutting this off. So let me try to fix this. Okay, there we go. So this is how your assignment looks. You have resources up here. You have hints. You have your score. You have the due date right there, right? The due date for this one is on Friday. It tells you what happens regarding grading. You can check your answers. You can view solutions. You lose 5% every answer, but you have unlimited attempts. So there's a lot of multiple choice, like I mentioned. I won't go through every single one, but here is an example of one of the short answer. So definitely take notes on what happened in each experiment, because you will have to recall that for the short answer questions. Okay. And sometimes you have to justify your answer. So like I said, just use your knowledge and to the best of your ability. And once you're done with all of the questions, you are done with the assignment. So, like I said, have fun exploring with Lab 1 on Achieve. If you have any questions at all, please let me know.